Hello, YouTube. This is Brian Redgrave here with my review of Money in the Bank 2020. This was actually a very short pay per view. To my surprise, it literally ended really early at 9:25 instead of the usual almost 11 or 11 time it normally ends. It was a short pay per view. Sometimes short is good. But was it the case here? Well, let's get started with the Money in the Bank review. First match up was Jeff Hardy versus Cesaro, this being Jeff Hardy's first match since returning this past Friday. And it was a pretty good, solid match to start the show. Nothing, like wow here, but it was a good way to start the show. A decent match. You can always count on Cesaro to put on good matches, and Jeff Hardy's still a good worker. So it was a good opener for a pre show. But, I don't feel like a pre show when there's no crowd. So it felt like part of the show. Obviously, Jeff has a lot of bigger stuff ahead of him. If rumors are to be true, he's supposed to be getting a big push. So this is clearly the beginning of it. I was happy with the result. Jeff winning, was the right call if you're gonna push him right. And hopefully he becomes world champion one last time before he retires. So I have nothing to complain about. Like I said, it was a short but pretty sweet match between the two. Not the best thing ever, obviously, but a very good, solid first match to start the show. So, no issues. So, it gets an up, and obviously, Jeff has bigger things ahead of him. So, obviously, Sheamus will probably be next for him. So, hopefully, he comes out on top of that and go into hopefully a world title match. So, yeah, it was the right call. Now, it would be wasted if they don't do nothing with Jeff later on. They've done this in the past, so it would be wasted if that were the case. But hopefully, it's not the case. So, the match gets an up from me. Next match up was a tag match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles with the New Day defending the titles versus Miz and Morrison, the Forgotten Sons, and Lucha House Party. This was a really, really good match. Very entertaining. A lot of good action between all four teams. All four teams are pretty good. Even though Lucha House Party never really does anything of importance, you can always count on them to put a decent match. And with them and the other three teams, we actually got a very good match. Granted, the New Day did retain, and I would have loved for Miz and Morrison to win the titles back. And some people think the Forgotten Sons should have won the titles, but if we have to look at it, the New Day just won the title, so it's not the time for them to lose it now. Even though I disagree with them winning the titles to begin with, but if they're champs, they should have a decent reign before they drop a title. I don't like when titles are just like play things like hot potato. I never like that. But the match gets an up. It was a very good match. A lot of good spots. Nothing to really say. This pay per view, when it came to spots, it didn't have that many great, like crazy spots you normally expect in this pay per view. It really didn't. But the match was really good, very entertaining. From a quality match, you really should watch it. It was a good match. All four teams put a great match in here. Hopefully, we'll see what comes next for all four teams. New Day, still champ. Next up was R-Truth versus MVP, and they came out and they argued about gibberish, about bowling. Essentially, the match never happened because Bobby Lashley just came out of nowhere, took MVP's place. Then it was R-Truth versus Bobby Lashley. That's the match that took place. Bobby destroyed R-Truth. Bobby won the match. Now, to begin with, R-Truth versus MVP is a match nobody was going to care for. So you did the right thing taking that MVP out of there and putting Bobby. Bobby's a little bit more legitimate as a star. But here's the thing, nobody again would have cared about Bobby versus R-Truth. This was in here as a bathroom break and nothing else. Bobby deserves better than this. Way better than this, especially if you're going to push him. You had this whole storyline with Lana going on again that they're going to break up. So this was just bad. It gets a down. It would have been a down no matter what, whether R-Truth versus MVP, R-Truth versus Bobby, don't matter, it gets a down. The arguing and bickering was a little funny, but it was just stupid. It was a little funny, but stupid. The match gets a down. Bobby deserves better than this. Next up, Bayley versus Tamina for the SmackDown Women's title. And heading into this match, nobody expected Tamina to win. Tamina has been in this company for how long, and she's never won a women's title. It ain't gonna happen now. And it's been obvious for the past couple of weeks that the real build up is going to be Bayley versus Sasha. It's been slowly coming together. So that's what they're heading into. So the match was not the greatest thing ever. It had some good, moments, but the match really wasn't that great. I didn't care for it. Bayley winning was an obvious result. So I'm really only excited for Bayley versus Sasha for when it happens. So this match was just here. This is the match you could skip. This could have been your also your bathroom break and your snack break. Whatever. So the match will get a down for me anyway. Bayley could do better. Tamina has never been the greatest thing ever. She's never really been. She's okay and decent at best. She's good for enforcer, as a character, as an enforcer for somebody else, but on her own, not the greatest thing. And I'm just excited for Bayley and Sasha for when that happens. So this match gets a down from me. Next up was Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt, the school teacher. I call him the school teacher. And the kids show host, I guess. And the moment that was known that it wouldn't be the Fiend, it was quite obvious for all of us that Bray was not going to win this match. Now, I'm probably Bray's biggest supporter. But if he's going to lose, it should be as this version of Bray. So, if Braun winning was your call, then this is the right Bray to lose. So I'm okay with that. You didn't bury the Fiend again. The Fiend, already lost some of his aura. And you have to argue, why didn't Goldberg beat this version of Bray to take the title and protect the Fiend persona? You have to really wonder about that. But Braun beat him in a actually solid match. I thought Bray was gonna get squashed due to this being this version of Bray, but he actually put up a decent fight, mostly back and forth at times too. To my surprise, Braun winning is the right call because you don't want him to lose a title in his first offense. Again, I hate hot potatoes. I hate that when you do that with titles. So it was the right call. Now, if this feud is going to continue, which I think it will, Bray must win the end of the feud as the Fiend. He already took the loss as regular old Bray here. He must win as the Fiend. So, with that in mind, the match will get an up. The match was better than I thought. It was not a squash match like I thought it would be. And Bray losing didn't hurt Bray because it wasn't the Fiend. So, decent match. The right, correct version of Bray lost. And Braun keeps his momentum. And the storytelling here has been really solid and really good. Good storytelling. That's been helping this feud be really good. They have a lot of history, these two. So, it gets a big up for me. Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins was a match that I was not very excited. Their previous matches a couple of years ago, when Drew was the heel, teaming with Dolph versus Seth at the time, was not that great to me. I found their matches at the time lackluster. But to my surprise, the match they put together here was a lot better than back in the day. They actually had a good, solid match and ended with Drew winning, the right call. They shook hands at the end. That was out of nowhere. But I'm okay with that. Which hopefully that shaking of hands means maybe they're done already with their feud. It was a one off. I would hope so. So Drew can continue on feuding with other wrestlers. Sometimes they really want to drag feuds into 2, 3, 4 months. Very unnecessary. Drew winning was obviously the right call. His reign continues. A big victory over Seth Rollins means he can propel into other stars and continue his reign into a long reign, I hope. So it was a really good match. It was a match that surpassed my expectations. I really did not expect much from this match. I went into this match like, okay, let's just watch it, get it over with, and came out with an actually solid, good match that just it was better than I thought it would be. And when a match can do that, it has to get an up. It was better than I thought it would be. It was a good match, hard hitting match, and I love the ending sequence of the super kick. It was the Glasgow kiss into a super kick into the Claymore kick. It was a good ender. So, to my surprise, when this match came on, I'm like, is there any other match left? Money in the Bank's already coming so soon? It had literally been like an hour and like 50 minutes only, and then the Money in the Bank match started. So, let's get to the main event, which was very different. For once, it was in WWE headquarters. That was one thing. Number two, for the first time ever, both the men and women's Money in the Bank matches took place literally at the same time. And before the match started, I was wondering how this was going to work. And I'll say this, the match was a lot of fun. I expected this to be a shit show, bad, boring. I was thinking the match was going for like 2 hours. I'm like, it's only 9. It's only about to be 9. Pay-per-view sent to end at almost 11. Will this match be 2 hours long? No, it wasn't 2 hours. It was like 30, 40 minutes maybe. But it was all entertaining and fun. WWE took advantage of this. I normally don't like this type of stuff, but I couldn't help but laugh through this whole Money in the Bank, some of the interactions, some guest appearances. And listen, some of you may ask, because I gave the Bray versus John Cena match a down, despite it being funny and hilarious and all that. Yeah, it was, but that wasn't a match. So before you use that against me, let's just point that out. This was funny, hilarious, but it was a match. They were fighting. Legit wrestling fighting. Can't really say legit, can I? And so it was all fun, goofiness, but it was still wrestling, fighting, and all that. So it was entertaining. And to be honest, I loved it. It was a really good, solid, fun match. Some good spots. They even played up Dana winning. She captured the Money in the Bank briefcase only for Stephanie McMahon to tell her, "What are you doing? You didn't win. This is the Money in the Bank conference room. It's on the top floor." That was funny because I really thought Dana Brooke won that. I was like, did Dana just win? Is this Dana's time for a push? That was not meant to be. Then Stephanie said, pick up Nia Jax. She's drooling all over the floor because Nia Jax was KO. So they had fun with this. It was entertaining. Vince was at one point in there. AJ and Daniel went in there, stopped fighting because it was Vince. Put the chairs back and left the room. It was all good and fun and a good match. So the match itself is going to get a big up. It's going to get an up. It was entertaining. It was fun. It's worth a watch. It was hilarious. I was dying of laughter as I enjoyed the fight. And they had some dramatic sound effects that were absolutely sometimes ridiculous, like Baron Corbin or King Corbin broke the glass, and then there was just dramatic music as he stared at the glass. I was like, okay, why? But it was entertaining. Good match. Now let's talk about the results. Match was good, but results. Result number 1 was Asuka winning the women's Money in the Bank. Now, I'm confused as to why Corbin and her were arguing. Why was Corbin trying to prevent her from getting the briefcase? He could have gone for the green one and won himself. That made absolutely no sense. But Asuka won the women's Money in the Bank. I was shocked. Everybody expected Shayna to win. Now, despite me wanting Shayna to win originally, I am happy about Asuka winning. I love Asuka. She's one of the best, if not the best, in that women's division. I don't care for Charlotte, Becky, Bayley. I like them all, but when it comes to number 1, to me, that will always be Asuka. So Asuka winning was a good, shocking surprise that I hope she becomes women's champion again. I really do. I'm very excited for her cashing now. I'm excited for her to be women's champion again. Sometimes she doesn't get used as she should. And let's be honest, since the whole no crowd thing, she has been the best and most entertaining performer in matches and in personality, whether she's goofing around, dancing to theme songs from other wrestlers. She's been absolute gold. And maybe that's why they gave her this. They've noticed all the effort she's put. So I have no issue with Asuka winning the women's Money in the Bank. I'm excited for her. I'm worried for Shayna. Granted, Shayna could continue feuding with Becky despite not winning the briefcase. So maybe that's the plan. And if that's the case, you know what? That's fine. Becky and Shayna can feud for another match. For Asuka though, I'm excited and I hope she becomes champion and has a successful cashing. I don't want no BS if she fails to cash in. So Asuka gets a big up from me. Now, who won the men's Money in the Bank match? Well, of course, who knows? Like, it really could have been anybody, couldn't it? It could have been the up-and-comer Aleister Black, which everybody wants him to be world champion. It could have been the fan favorite Daniel Bryan. It could have been the master of the 619, who could maybe get one final world championship before he retires. It could have been the phenomenal AJ Styles, who literally just came back after that Boneyard match with The Undertaker. If he came back, it must have been for a reason. Or it could have been the King. It could have been King Corbin. But out of all these men, who do you think would have won? Nobody expected Otis to win. I mean, he's Otis. I'm a fan of Otis. I was a fan of the Otis, Sonya, Mandy Dove storyline. But I don't expect Otis to win this match. He's not main event level. Of course, we'd be wrong. Otis of Heavy Machinery won the men's Money in the Bank match. Even though this match had all the names I just said, Otis has an opportunity to hold the World Heavyweight Championship. I was shocked, and not good shocked, like I was with Asuka. It's just a joke. Is this a joke? I'm a fan of Otis. I was a fan of this whole storyline, and I became a real fan of Otis. But Otis' character is not one to be world champion. His character is not that. All those men, and you gave it to Otis. I expect Otis to join the list of men who have failed to cash in. If Otis has a successful cash in and he becomes world champion before somebody like Nakamura, Samoa Joe, Aleister Black, Andrade, all these men are very talented and have yet to hold the WWE Champion or the Universal Champion. And you're going to tell me that Otis, a retard, because his character, like I said, I like Otis, so know that, but his character, he's weird, he's retarded, he's goofy, and he's going to be your world champion? That's not gonna work unless he's completely repackaged. I don't judge the man. He's a great, comedy act. He's a decent wrestler. He's part of a decent, good tag team. His storyline was great. It was all fun. Is that why they're doing this? They're trying to capitalize on this fandom that he has right now. But world champion, I would understand intercontinental champion or United States champion, but world champion? World champion? Otis? No! The main event as of Otis winning gets a big middle finger from me. Again, I am a fan of Otis. I just don't think he's world champion material. I don't think that unless he had a full repackaging. So, Otis winning will get a middle finger from me. This has been Brian Redgrave. This has been my review of Money in the Bank. If you agree with me, let me know in the comments. Like the video, share and subscribe. This has been Brian Redgrave. Redgrave out.